And we're looking at that camera, Dad, right there. You see it?
Yep.
What time is it?
Valentine time, baby. Cha-ching.
And we got the backwards hat.
Yeah, this is my rapper hat, baby.
Rapper hat because the light was making your face dull. So we'll be back in 1 second to talk golf. Fire with Dad. You got to remember, we can't watch the screen.
All right.
We got a new camera. We got a new
camera, baby. I know we're going big time.
We got well, we were already big time. We just went bigger timer.
We're bigger timer.
Okay, we're over here. We're talking to each other, too.
Oh, okay. You said look at the camera.
I'm saying when you talk to the camera.
Oh, okay.
When you talk to me. So we're talking golf.
Golf, baby.
Here, put the mic up here. Are you a rookie?
I guess I'm a rookie today.
Okay, so we're talking golf because we were telling a story the other day in the sales meeting about my golf outing with Airstream. And it got me thinking about a couple other golf stories.
A couple?
I got
probably about 45,000.
I've played golf a lot, but I'm saying I've got a couple funny ones.
We got more than that. We got a bunch of funny ones.
I know you got one. So I'm going to start off. I got 3, and I'm sure you got, I want you to tell the one about the lake. Like when you were playing golf at the Pro-Am. I know you were on the green at the Pro-Am, and they could hear you across the lake.
Oh, okay.
With Ken Anderson, those guys, I think, the Bengals player. So my first story is an easy one to talk about, and it's a lesson. It's a lesson for you youngins out there with golf, that if you're playing with your parents and you're a young kid and your dad has a rule, a laugh. Do we have a rule? Do we have it on the mic? The studio audience can now hear when they're listening on the internet. They'll be able to hear the little buttons they have here with your laugh and fire with Dad and cha-ching.
Okay, dude.
So playing golf, Perry Park, hole number 10, which was a par 4 that kind of wrapped around a lake. I got up there on my second shot. I was going to go with like a 5 wood and try and pop it up on the green, and I missed it.
Yeah, big time.
And you had a rule, no hitting 2 shots. I never understood why. I thought it was just a lesson that you couldn't hit 2 shots in play. Apparently it was because maybe the people you're playing with are going to get in front of you. And so I'm like, screw the rule. I'm hitting another ball. Well, I shanked the second one too, but that one shanks directly in the direction of you and Mom and drills Mom in the leg.
Right there.
Right in the thigh. And she has a scar there to this day, right?
Well, I think there's still a mark. All I got told it wasn't a mark, but yeah, I think, I'll tell you what, it lasted a while.
And if you know my dad, he's not a chaser type of guy. Like, I think you probably could drop your wallet. Like, well, I'm not big. I'm not bent over to get it.
That's right.
Yeah. But you chased me around the lake.
I was so pissed off. I said, I told you, you can't hit 2 times in a row. Your mom's standing in front of you, and you went nuts.
Yeah, but technically, think about it. She was in the way of my ball getting somewhere.
No, yeah,
that could have affected my score.
Well, if you had actually, okay, what you needed to do is go to that ball where you shanked it and hit from there.
Okay,
that's how you play golf.
Okay, so now I got a funny story I'll tell, and then we'll have you tell the story about the Pro-Am. So I told this yesterday to Anne from the Largo group. I had her on the podcast, and I told her afterwards because she was a golfer in college. And so I was at the Greenbrier. So I had a client that was a sponsor of the Greenbrier FedEx Open. It was the first year they had it there. And the headliner golfer was Sergio Garcia. They paid him like $400,000 or $500,000 to come be the headliner. So we're at this event, and they have a private casino that if you're staying on the Greenbrier, I don't know if it's still that way, but if you were staying on the Greenbrier, you get a jacket. If you didn't have one, we had to get them. And you go down there and play Texas Hold'em, whatever, casino. So I'm down in the casino, and we're at the table, and Sergio Garcia is there. And there's a couple of stories that go along with this, but won't go that long. Sitting there, we're playing cards till like 2 a.m.
And he's still playing golf.
And he was in 7th place, I think, at the time. And I only know this because the next day I looked because of what happened. And so he's there playing poker with us all night. We're having a good time. This guy, Sean Compton, I think was his name. And there's a bunch, like 5 other PGA players that I didn't really know their names. And so we get done, and I'm like, okay, we're out. They close the casino. And we're all leaving. He's like, I'm going to the bar, boys. So he goes to the bar to chase women and drink, and apparently he's there all night. Well, the next day, I'm watching the ticker because we had a house on the 17th tee. So the green, the tee kind of hit over the little yard the house had, and the patios out there. It's a really nice place, as you can imagine. And so we're out there, and I'm watching all day as Sergio goes from like 7th to like 12th to like 30th, and he's literally close to last place. Went from making a couple hundred to making nothing, basically. Now, granted, he got paid to be there, but he walks in the house. So we're on the 17th, and they had this house that the players would come in to go to the bathroom, get drinks, get beer. He walks in the house. He's like, Matt, what's up? And we're talking, and he's like, yeah, rough day. And I'm like, well, no wonder I'm drinking all night. And he's like, yeah, whatever. And so it was funny because this plays into how Sergio acts now. I didn't really know him back then from the standpoint of what he does on TV. So he leaves the house. And we're like, see you, man. And all he's got to do is walk out the yard and walk through the gate. There's like an opening of a split rail fence. He's got to go like 20 feet to his left. He decides he doesn't want to go the 20 feet to his left. He's going to jump the fence.
Hello.
I ever tell you this?
No.
And so he goes to jump the fence and he misses, like it hits his leg and wipes out hard. And the whole crowd is there, and the crowd didn't like Sergio.
And they never have.
And so they start yelling and laughing, and he stands up and he's like, I could have been hurt. My hands are my life. I could have been hurt. And he's yelling at them. And they're like, dumbass, you shouldn't have jumped over a fence then when you. So long story short, that to me it was funny because years later, as I watched, I remember the one time where he blamed Tiger Woods for changing clubs and getting the fans riled up, and then there we go. We're back with the wrong camera.
Well, that's nice at the technical difficulties, but
Technical difficulties was I didn't have my battery plugged in for the laptop. So let's see if we can get back now. There's no camera there, Max. We're good. Let me go audio here. Make sure we're on the. Yeah, everything's turned off. Well, there you go, folks.
1 sec.
What's YOLO box? Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. I got audio there. I got YOLO box there. Internet land, if you're watching, can you hear us? After the technical difficulties, the live feed was interrupted.
cha-ching, baby.
Can you hear us out there? I don't know. Let me look and see if we're. Huh?
Probably was my fault for wearing the hat backwards. It's probably I caused
Probably
it.
was.
I caused it.
Probably was your fault. No, it was my fault for not charging my damn laptop, which is I'm notorious for doing. I'll have it on my desk and using it all day and not charging it.
You young kids. I always charge my stuff every night. I charge my phone every night. So the morning I
Here we
wake up
go.
in the morning,
Says we're live.
100%.
Let's see. This is the. Yep. Okay, we're live.
Cha-ching, baby.
Okay, so long story short, when Tiger took his changed clubs and made the crowd roar, Sergio blamed him for hitting a bad shot because Tiger made the crowd loud and did it intentionally at that exact time. So to me, it was funny because I now watch Sergio and he always is blaming people for stuff.
Well, he's the yip king.
What do you mean, Yip King?
Oh yeah, back about I guess it's been about 9 years. They actually started doing a thing where he had the yips, and he would move away from the ball. They were counting them on TV.
Oh, I remember that now.
He had 19 times the one time. He had 19 times that it moved and then and finally hit the ball. And the game didn't start getting really good until he stopped doing the yips.
So let's go to your story. I
was at Muirfield.
You're at Muirfield.
On the third hole.
Third hole. Okay.
There's the water in front of the third hole. Okay, and it comes down, and it's the Pro-Am, and it's on Tuesday at the Pro-Am. And we were at the time I was an insurance. I had my insurance agency, and Kenny Anderson was the quarterback of the Bengals, and so I'm sitting there, and we were sponsoring a lot of baseball teams, and Russell Athletics, the guy who owned it, he had a house on the third green.
Okay,
and so we spent all night there, and we were drinking.
But wasn't the time with Kenny Anderson that he owned a beer distributor?
Well, he owned the business, but he also was good friends with a guy from Russell Athletics.
Okay, so that's time.
So they were gonna. So he paid for Kenny to play in the Pro-Am.
Okay.
So Penny's playing with Pro-Am, and he's in there. He got the force to get it all clients of Russell Athletics, And then they're playing. The fourth guy is the guy that's an English golfer from England.
What was his name?
I don't remember now, but he was hated by everybody. He was one of these guys, almost like Sergio. Everybody hated him.
Okay.
Whenever he got anywhere, he booed. So we're sitting there, and we're on the third green, and we're both got margaritas. This is like 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. We got margaritas. Here comes Kenny Anderson with his foursome with the guy from England coming down. Their ball's right in front of the right before you get to the water. So one guy says,
Was this a par 3 or was this a
par 4?
A par 4, okay.
Okay, so we're sitting there talking, and we're making bets on everything. So he says $10 says Kenny gets the ball on the green. It says $10 says he gets it close, but not on the green. So he gets it close now. So I win $10. So here comes the golfer from England. He says $10 he puts the ball right on the flag. I says $10 he's in the trap. Bigger and shit, he's in the trap.
That was the water.
No, I went in the trap.
Oh, okay.
Next to the green.
Okay.
So anyway,
the lake was there because you guys.
we could hear. They could hear every word we said because
you didn't know that.
No. So we get up. He gets up on the green. He throws 5 balls into the sand trap because the pros could practice while they're playing with pro-am. So he throws like 5 balls in the sand trap. He says, and so the guy looks at me. He says, he'll probably sink one of these. I said, no way. I said, all 5 balls are off the green because the greens were that way. Bigger and shit. All 5 balls are off the green. He's going nuts. The English golfer starts cussing at us. I'm about $80 up right now.
You guys had no clue he could hear you because of the way the water was.
So he throws one more ball down on the trap. And he goes, "Okay, asshole. Okay, now what's your number?" I said, "Send the trap on the other side." Bigger goes in the trap. By this time, I'm in his head with both feet. Okay, and he's cussing us out. He's swearing at us, and the guy that's doing the silent things, like, "You guys better stand back." He's getting mad. So he ends up he puts out. Okay, they go to the next tee box, which is number 4, which is a par 3, and it's along that same lake on that same water. So we're sitting there. So we said one more bet. So he bets me. He says $10. He hits the ball down the middle. It is on the green. I says no. $10 says he shanks it, goes in the water. Well, he hears this. Okay, turns around. He's going nuts. He hits the ball in the water. Okay. And that time, the ranger says, "You guys better get off of here because if you don't, this guy's coming after you." And so we left. We find out later from Kenny, the guy shot like a 92 that day. This is the pro. He shot like 92. He says, "Dwayne," he says, "he was you were in his head the entire 18 holes. He couldn't do nothing."
See, and I didn't know that was at Muirfield. So here's the irony. My last story is that the course next to Muirfield. Right, because that's called Muirfield.
Airstream, baby.
That's called Muirfield Village, right? And where I was playing was Muirfield Country Club. So we're an Airstream dealer, and we get to go up for the Airstream golf outing. And I happen to get paired with a guy named, I think it was Dickie Regal. I want to say it was his name.
Thompson or Regal, yeah.
And so
president of Airstream.
Dickie was president of Airstream, 6'6", country club, born and bred, Southampton's guy.
Lived in Long Island.
Yeah, fly a private jet down every week to work and live there at Muirfield. And work at the Airstream factory, which is just north of Cincinnati and Jackson Center, or north of Dayton. And so we're on this golf outing. And we got to like the second or third hole, and this guy's a perfect golfer. And this time I hadn't been playing much golf except for outings. And if anybody plays golf and you don't play golf for 4 years, but you play outings, it goes to shit because you're always over swinging, trying to outdrive everybody and be the big stick. And so my drives were just ludicrous. I'm like, "No, Dickie, you don't want me hitting," because this course, the houses are on the damn fairway.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And so I said,
golf course.
So I'm like, "You don't want me hitting? I'll hit every house." Like, no, you're good. So me and then the other guy in the group, I don't know who the fourth was. The third guy in the group was the president of like Daimler, Chrysler, Mercedes van division, because Airstream used the Mercedes van chassis back then, the first ones to use the motorhome. It had just come in the country. And I remember back then it had the Mercedes logo, the Dodge logo, the Chrysler logo. It looked like a NASCAR.
No one could figure out who made it.
Yeah, because the Daimler, Chrysler, and Mercedes, they all wanted to have their badge on it, and it eventually went to Mercedes now. And he's on there. So him and I both hit, and we drill this house. Like mine's bouncing off of grills and patio furniture, and Dickie's like, "Yeah, okay, maybe you guys shouldn't hit." And so for like the next 4 or 5 holes, Dickie would hit his drive, and we would play in because we weren't going to outdrive him. We get to this par 4, par 5 something, and there's a hole here. We're on the hole straight ahead. And then there's a hole next to it. And then it was the only hole with like no houses on the hole, if I remember right. And then there's a street. And then there's houses. And Dickie's like, "Matt, swing away, brother. Like, there's nothing. If worst case scenario, you end up in that frame." I'm like, "Yeah, I agree. So I get up there and I swing and I knock this ball, and it takes off down the fairway and then turns hard right. And I'm not shitting you, goes 250 to 300 yards the wrong way over the hole, over the street and hits a blue car. If I remember, it was a Chevy Malibu. Boom! Drills it. And Dickie looks at me. He's like, what the hell? Like, how did that happen? Like, how did you, one, not make it into the other fairway? How did you clear the street? And then how did you clear the street and hit the only car parked on the street? And I'm like, well, that's why Matt Plapp shouldn't be driving.
Well, when we got done that day, that was all he talked about was you guys hitting the ball, hitting everything but the golf course.
Well, I think he made a comment that like my neighbors are going to be pissed because I live up here. Well, there we go. You got any other funny golf stories?
Remember the one on Brightleaf where you hit the guy's window?
Oh man, I remember that. Yeah.
We're on a par 5, okay, and the guy who runs the golf, because Brightleaf is owned by a family, and they all have houses on the golf course. So we're on the par 5, and there's no way anybody could hit this guy's picture window.
Oh, bull crap! That was in a terrible spot.
I know, but anyway. So anyway,
blaming me.
Well, we get on the 5th hole, and Matthew Shanks breaks the guy's picture window.
Well, no, you back up a little. It was a par 5,
right?
And I had my second shot with a 5-wood, and I hit it, and it just cut up into it
and hit the window.
But it was a bulletproof window.
Supposed to be.
No, it was, and it went like spider webs, and then went inward. And the ball was sitting there. I kind of drove up there and looked around. There's a Saint Bernard just looking at me. Ball's laying on the patio. I went ahead and laid up and hit again. But then you can tell a story because we get into the clubhouse.
We get into the clubhouse, okay, and the pro sit, and there he goes. So he's talking to us, and he goes, I knew him. I'd been playing for 20 years.
But we didn't know whose house it was.
No, we didn't know whose house it was. And so he's looking at us, and he goes, somebody broke my window on my house today. I'm going, who would that be? And I'm looking right at Matt, and Matt's going, we're out of here.
We're done. That was a terrible place house. It was.
I know.
Well, and he had said he had like 5 windows the first week.
That's why I put the bulletproof glass.
Yeah, it was that glass that had like the metal wire, so the ball
but
wouldn't
you
go
still
out.
messed it up.
Oh, I jacked. It was done.
It was history.
I just thought it was funny. The Saint Bernard just sat there and looked at me like no big deal.
I thought it was funny. The guy's like, I can't believe this. Somebody hit my window.
I don't know who it was.
Not us. No, not us. Not us.
Okay, Max, let's hit a couple of the buttons. Let's get a couple cha-chings here.
Cha-ching, baby. Cha-ching.
He's got them on there. He's got them on. We don't even need you to say it anymore.
Is that right?
It's just
no fun not saying them.
I'm just messing with you. Okay. Fire with Dad.
Fire with Dad, baby.
See you next week.
Cha-ching.
See ya.
Bye. Cha-ching, baby.
Cha-ching.